The Treasurer has been urged to overturn the RBA's rate hike. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because, well, no one seems to be happy with the RBA at the moment and their rate hike that took us all by surprise. Come to think of it, I really think this was all done on purpose to manipulate us to have an even bigger impact of this rate increase. For those of you playing at home, we're now at 3.85%, heading as the cash rate target, heading up to 4%. So I guarantee you we will see, or if not already, tomorrow, the banks lift interest rates. So let's check out this article from news.com.au. Treasurer Jim Chalmers says RBA move is a brutal reminder. Has been urged to overturn the RBA's shock decision on rates amid fears the latest hike could result in a recession. I mean, we can't say the last recession was 30 years ago because we just had one recently, but it really didn't feel like a recession, did it? So, let's keep going. Treasurer Jim Chalmers has been urged to overturn the RBA's shock decision to hike rates. Amid fears the latest hike could result in a recession, the government has been urged to take the unprecedented step of direct intervention. Really? Where's this coming from? The RBA's decision to raise interest rates again beggars belief will smash renters and mortgage holders even harder than they were being smashed already. Green Senator, of course, Nick McKim said. Well, this is why you don't want the Greens running the show. You'd have they want a closed economy, a directed economy. The RBA is out of control. Jim Chalmers needs to use his powers and step in and overrule this terrible decision. So maybe was this senator saying the same thing when the RBA was crashing rates down to such a very low level that just stimulated big parts of the economy? I'm sure they were just as critical then. Senator McKim said, by the RBA's own admission, interest rate rises are the wrong response to an inflation spike driven by corporate profiteering and corporate profiteering. Oh, bloody hell. They really are ideologues, aren't they? They just prattle on the same shit over and over again. Getting sick of it. Stop voting for these idiots. And supply side issues. If Dr. Chalmers refuses to act, it will be a tacit endorsement of the RBA's decision. I love this. It's such a manipulative bullshit technique. I've even received emails saying, you need to talk about this topic on your channel and use your audience, or else you tacitly comply with these people or this thing or yada, yada, yada. And this is from complete and utter nutcases. Like people who obviously are mentally ill. Maybe future senator material right there. So, endorse the RBA's decision and will mean that he supports the rate rise, he said. Oh, it's a male. I should know that. Earlier, the Treasurer sidestepped questions over whether the RBA's brutal interest rate rise could plunge Australia into a recession, as the Albanese government prepares to put the final touches on next Tuesday's budget, including tax increases for cigarettes. The RBA has stunned experts by handing down another rate rise to tackle inflation. This is going to be such an interesting budget, guys, when a lot of people learn that their good guy Labour ain't that different from the meanie coalition. It's not that different. When they see the numbers and reality, there's going to be very slight differences. So you kind of, I'd advocate for smaller government, but that's kind of an argument I would make. You kind of want the best of both worlds. Oh boy. Anyway, let's keep going. I think some people are gonna learn some fantasies won't come to reality. The Treasurer conceded it was a brutal reminder of the inflation challenge, but stopped short of reassuring homeowners that a recession was off the cards. Well, how could he? I mean, come on. And this one rate rise isn't going to be something that ticks us into a recession, everyone. It's more complicated than that. I think that the rate rise is really a pretty stark, pretty brutal reminder of the difficult economic conditions. And I think people are broadly aware that we've got an inflation challenge in our economy. People feel it every day. Australians are set to endure the more financial pain after the Reserve Bank of Australia decided to lift rates by 25 points to 3.85. It means that those with an average loan size of 586 will be forking out around $14,000 more annually compared to what they were paying this time last year. I mean, that's... Here's the thing, guys. The cash rate target of 0.1% was bullshit. Okay? That was beyond emergency low levels. We're now creeping up to 4%, so that gives us a 1% buffer to the 3% rate, which was what was used to be considered the emergency level because they still had room to go below. So if you're basing all of your borrowing capacity and your future predictions and your ability to manage your finances on these insanely low rates, what do you think is going to happen? Okay, rates won't go up until 2024. We're only, 6 months away from that anyway. So you would have been screwed just in 6 months' time rather than now. Honestly, I think a lot of people, more than we realize, didn't borrow at the max, didn't stretch themselves too far, and are probably going to be they're going to have to tighten the belt and maybe only buy 2 Monaros this year, not 3. And, just get the extra share, the smaller size shed, and maybe build it themselves. And maybe not get Uber Eats drive to the takeout themselves, make lifestyle changes. There's always going to be a flood of sob stories in the media when these reporters, they will troll for them on groups on Facebook. Do you have this story? Do you have this story? That's what they'll do. They'll fish for them and you put them out there. So, I'm starting to think that gives us a warped perspective of the average Aussie. Are you worried about the RBA? That the RBA is tightening rates so much that it could drive the country into recession? The Treasurer was asked. In response, the Treasurer said he wasn't about to second guess the decisions taken independently by the Reserve Bank. Okay, good. Okay, we've got a Treasurer that isn't a complete and utter nutcase. Remember this. This is what this is showing you what the Greens are really like. They are extremely interventionist. They think they know better than everyone, and they want a centrally planned economy. Everyone. They're very dangerous in their ideological approach. They should just stick to trees. As you may know, my job is different. It's to hand down a budget which is carefully calibrated to these economic conditions that we confront right now. The Reserve Bank, the Treasury, I think almost everyone expects the Australian economy to slow substantially later this year. That is the inevitable consequence, in my view, of high interest rates combined with the global slowdown. And so the Reserve Bank's forecast reflect that. The Treasury's forecast reflects that too. And inflation is moderating off the peak around Christmas time, but it's still higher than we'd like for longer than we'd like, and the forecast will reflect that as well. Our job is to provide responsible cost of living relief. To do that, we can, without adding substantially to the inflation challenge that we have in our economy. And the best way to do that is to prioritize the most vulnerable. Is it? What? And that, what? To that through shit. Energy assistance bills. Okay. We'll see. This is going to be an interesting budget. It really is. Because aren't they upping the dole for over 55s and screwing all the young people? But then again, the young people got bonus incentives to be employed. I mean, the sad reality is the older you get, it's less likely you're going to be employed, that someone's going to hire you. That's just age discrimination exists. So Siggy tax up. Tax increases are expected in the budget. Health Minister Mark Butler has announced a 5% increase on the tobacco tax in a bid to clamp down on the smoking rate and raise $3.3 billion over 4 years. I remember when we did a video looking at how much a carton of smokes costs and how much you could that could pay for a mortgage. Okay, sure, the cash rate was low, but damn, cigarettes have gotten expensive. Have gotten real expensive. I mean, I don't smoke. My parents smoked when I was a kid, like back in the 80s. And it's just, there you go. And now what, they want to ban vaping, I hear. There's a whole hysteria about that. I mean, oh boy. Yeah. Why are they so stupid in missing well, you know what it is. It's the tobacco lobby. But why are they so stupid in missing a tax opportunity? Why don't they tax vape? I mean, it's all kind of, you're killing yourself and being the government's bitch by paying them all these taxes on what's killing you. So, that should be your only argument not to smoke, guys. Don't be the government's little tax bitch. So, speaking at the National Press Club, Mr. Butler said some of the money will be ploughed back into helping smokers quit. As we stamp out the growing black market in illegal vaping, we also need to prevent young people from trading their vapes for cigarettes, he said. That's why this budget also included measures to bring smoking rates down. I thought smoking had crashed, or has it gone back up now? Is smoking cool again? To protect people from taking it up, and additional support for current and former smokers to look after their health. Quitting smoking is, if you smoke, it's the smartest thing you can do to improve your health. You will see differences in a few days. It's just nuts. It's not something you should be doing. Don't get me wrong. I can appreciate why people enjoy it. I don't mind a nice cigar once every child, or I had a shisha. Well, no, I had a hookah pipe that we could put all the rose flavored tobacco and all the nice little tobacco. Then it was so smooth and really nice. I moved back home, and my mother found it and she threw it out. Uncultured. Anyway, today I announced the tax on tobacco will increase by 5%. Yep. Together, these changes will raise an additional $3.3 billion over the coming 4 years, including $290 million in GST payments. Oh boy, more taxes. Payday super changes. Meanwhile, millions of Australians will be better off under a budget plan to finally force penny-pinching employers to pay super on payday instead of hoarding the cash. Under the big changes, employers will be required to pay super contributions at the same time as wages. Now, this is probably a good idea. I can see how it's frustrating for employers when you have cash flow challenges, because what happens is they should stash that super in another account and then pay that as they need it. But people miss out on it. It doesn't get paid. What I would really like is that the super payments goes to the individual and then they have to pay it themselves. So they experience that. I mean, I would even say we need to get rid of pay-as-you-go tax, stop it being done automatically, and the employee has to do that. Send the tax to the tax department every week themselves. Can you imagine? Then we'll see how many people love paying their taxes. It'll never happen, though. We know why. Currently, employers are only required to make superannuation payments every 3 months, allowing employers to hoard the money and keep it out of workers' retirement savings accounts where it could be making money. But from the 1st of July 2026, employers will be required to pay their employees super at the same time as their salaries and wages. Yeah, I think this is a smart idea. It's going to be a pain for cash flow for some businesses, but it means you will instantly know, hopefully, if they're screwing you or not. This simple change will strengthen Australia's superannuation system and help deliver a more dignified retirement to more Australian workers, Chalmers said. Yeah, I doubt that, but it's going to mean that people aren't as easily screwed out of their super, at least from their employers. The super funds can screw them out of it then. By switching to Payday Super, a 25-year-old median income earner currently receiving their super quarterly and wages fortnightly could be around 6,000 or 1.5% better off at retirement. What? Oh boy, $6,000. That's 60 tanks of petrol. Better off when you're retired. Okay. That's not very impressive. But what is impressive is that people are going to be less likely for people to be screwed over. More frequent super payments will make employers' payroll management smoother with fewer liabilities building up on the books. Yep. Okay, so what else? That's it. More and more about super. So, guys, there we go. Let's have a bit of a talk about this one. Eh? Some fun ones in here. I mean, at least we have a Labour treasurer that, well, is facing reality. But the Greens, bloody hell, they're getting worse every time. Or is it just the media attention? They're probably latching onto them. I mean, the media would love them. Anyone with a understanding of economics or finance or just politics in general sees these type of calls being made from who would call for the treasurer to do that? And so, of course, I had to click on it and see. And, of course, it's a Greenie. It's concerning, though, that they're calling for that. But, guys, there we go. This is where it's headed. What do you reckon? Well, and what do you think? This budget, do you think it'll be gimmies? Labour, the good guy, is going to be helping everyone out, or is it going to be a tough budget? Because they could make or break this first run. We can see if they're a one-term party or two. We'll have to see. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, or subscribe to the channel. Check out Heise BIM or Heise Does. If you're a fan and enjoy the content, you can support us on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call us if you need an architect. Take care. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.